Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aquarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aquarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we've got the Magician as our first card. You're a magic maker. Yeah, you're a magic. Before you even get started, write magic maker in the comments here. Because you are creating your reality. You are the architect of your reality. I think you are channeling something divine through you. Something is inside of you, wants to get out. You are transmitting something to the world. Through your communication, through your skills, through your talents, through your efforts, through the way that you're interfacing with the world around you. You're highly intelligent. You are tapping into a type of creative genius, okay? And I think it's very important that you listen to this message and understand what it is that's trying to come through and how you're meant to live in service to that. Okay? You're the painter who needs to paint. You're the writer that needs to write, the business person that needs to business. You're manifesting something through you. You are acting as a clear channel of a divine energy. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. This is a very adaptable card. There's the Hanged Man. Okay? Six of Wands, Eight of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, Hermit. Over here we have Prince of Pentacles, Seven of Cups. We have a Knight of Cups and a Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is really the card of change. That's exactly what magic is. That's exactly what a magician does. Causes change. You're changing something about your life. Okay? Usually this is harmonious change, right? This is the card of worry, though. Okay? So I think this, in combination with your Eight of Swords, is saying that you're kind of worried about what you're manifesting or how you're doing it, or not so much why you're doing it. I think you know why you're doing it. But, you know, it's difficult when this divine energy has to be filtered through your human heart and mind. The human heart and mind gets discouraged. The human heart and mind has doubts, gets self-conscious, sometimes questions, our own capabilities. Yeah. This is a card that says you can learn whatever it is you need to learn. You can become whoever you need to become in order to accomplish this mission and to reach your goal now to cause change in conformity with your will. So what we have here then, fire and earth. So this is the ideal fire inside of you. This is the harmony and the flow that you want to see. This is your will, this is your intention. This is inside of you. This is what the magician is trying to do. Get this will to cause the corresponding changes in the external environment that will bring the 5 to a 6, so it matches. You're trying to form a match. Because what you want inside, this is like you have a vision inside of you. It's kind of like an artist, who has a vision of like what they want to draw. I knew a kid in middle school who could look at a picture of something and then could draw it from memory flawlessly. It was amazing. And this is that inner vision. This is like something is inside of you. You have an image inside of you. And then the magician is trying to transmit that out on paper, and you're trying to have it as like an equal 1-to-1 ratio, where what you have in your imagination is what comes out on the paper. Now, I can't do that. I can visualize a house, a landscape, the trees and everything, but you give me a pencil and I try to draw it, it's like stick figures and chicken scratch, okay? It doesn't come out the way it looks in my head. But that's what magic is, fire and earth. So this is the will, this is the vision inside of you, and this is the external world. And you're trying to get this to match up. You're trying to put these two into harmony. And I think of course, you're worried that what you're trying to do isn't going to come out right on the other side. Okay? And this is what the magician tries to do, because if you're going from a 6 of fire to a 6 of earth, that's 1-to-1 ratio. But if we're going from a 6 to a 5, that means like something got twisted up along the way. That there was some kind of data loss, some kind of corruption in that translation. It's not a mirror image. It's not a perfect manifestation. Okay, let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. Well, those two cards wanted to come out. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to put it right there with our little sea turtle friend. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what this card might be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Now, as we look around the room, we see majors right here. Okay, we see a little bit of fire under the surface. You got water and water. You got a little bit of air, and you've got some good earth cards. Okay, really good earth cards. So the first thing that's required of the magician is surrender. Not trying to disagree with what it is your soul is trying to tell you. You know, it's kind of like there's this inner knowing that like you're meant to be a dancer, right? But yet your conscious mind, it might be trying to resist that. No, I don't want to dance. I don't want to be a dancer, you know. And so you're trying to sort of, trying to swim upstream instead of going with the flow. The first thing that we need to do is surrender to that energy that's inside of us that is trying to come out. Because that conflict or that resistance is where we get a lot of our grief in life, right? We're going against our true nature. And maybe it feels good for a moment. Okay, maybe that's what we have here. Anytime we get these volunteer cards, I kind of feel like it's trying to show us something that came before today's reading. So I always put those volunteer cards over here, behind the past card. Because I feel like there was a time in your life where you were resisting your true will. What it is that you knew you were really meant to do in this life. You resisted it. You walked away from something that was yours. And it may have felt good in the moment. And it may have felt more gratifying in the short term. But I think it led to a lot of confusion. It led to a lot of grief for you. And I think that now your magician energy, your magus, is realizing that you need to basically surrender. Ego needs to surrender conscious control of destiny and go with the flow here. Because there's something that you're meant to do that you've been resisting. You're not resisting anymore. You're acquiescing. You're surrendering to it. It's like a trust fall with the universe. And you're saying, fine, I'll do it. You know? And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I know it's your destiny. I know it's something that you're meant to do. It's something that you can feel inside of you. It's something that's kind of fighting to get out. Okay? It's not fighting anymore because you're not resisting it anymore. Yeah, whether this is something at work, at home, at school, whether this is art, music, dancing, if it's business, if it's kind of, if it's a particular way of life or a particular lifestyle or a particular sport or hobby or musical instrument, I don't know, whatever it is. You're not denying it. You're not trying to go against your own flow, your own grain, you know. And I think that's the first thing that a good magician needs to do, is to realize what their will is and to stop fighting it. You know, it could be that you're really, you know, somewhere deep inside of you, you're meant to like go into business or law or something like that, but oh, you really wanted to be a drummer, you know, in a band. And so there's that there's that split. There's that confusion. There's that complexity. We're making it way too difficult for ourselves, you know. And it's not always easy to know what you're supposed to do. For a while there, I was the one thinking, I'm supposed to do something in music. I want to be a rock star. I want to play drums in a band. I want to be a lead singer or something. And I think for a long time, I was trying to force that rather than accepting something that felt more authentic in me, but I couldn't really understand it. And it feels more now, and I'm in the flow now more. Even though maybe we still can't quite name it. We don't have like an ace of swords, so I can't put it into words what it is, but I feel like doing what I do now is more in line with my true self than me trying to force myself to be the drummer in the band or the lead singer or the rock star, you know? And because I think there's something about teaching or sharing information or transmitting something rather than the musical side of things. I love music. I still fantasize about being in a band, you know. Some of my role models are like my favorite musicians and things. But me trying to force that feels like it's me swimming against the current. Because there's something else, and that's the Six of Wands underneath the surface here. There's something in you that feels aligned. Yeah. And it feels like this is what's trying to get forth from you. This is what you're trying to transmit. Yeah. And the reason I feel that there's this conflict and stuff is, well, one, because of the 8 and the 3 here, but also because of this 8, right? That we're going from an 8 to an 8 to an 8. And the 8 of Swords in the background, I feel like we were overthinking it. I feel that there was a mental complexity that really didn't need to be there. I felt like there was mental turmoil, mental and emotional turmoil, because your heart and your mind were resisting something that your soul was telling you. Your soul was saying, this is supposed to be our path. This is the true will. And this is saying, no, I want to be a drummer in a band, you know? But yet there was this turmoil, this discord, okay? And, well, that's past. I think now you understand how to listen to that voice, how to tap into that kind of super consciousness or that genius. I believe we're all geniuses. I believe we all have that genius part of ourselves that is trying to communicate with us. We don't always know what it's saying. And we feel a drive, we feel an impulse, we feel a magnetism towards something, and sometimes we don't know how to interpret it. Sometimes there's confusion. Sometimes we say, what are you saying? Be a drummer in a band? Is that it? And so we try to force that because we believe that's what we're meant to do. But I think the more we try to surrender to it, the more we try to quiet our mind and our heart down and really listen and really try to transcend our own personal preferences and biases about what we'd prefer to do. And we start to hear that voice inside of us that's trying to tell us, like, which direction to go. I feel like you can hear that. And I feel like there was a time in your life where you couldn't, but now your magician is surrendering to that divine flow. And letting this harmony, this intention, this will kind of present an image to you. And now that image, you're striving to create it in the external world to the best of your ability. You want it to match up perfectly, 6 to 6 or 1 to 1, you know. And so the real joy here comes from knowing what your true will is and doing that will. And doing that will is, of course, going from fire to earth, causing change and conformity with your will. It requires sacrifice. To cultivate what it is that you really are meant to do in this world requires that you background some other things. Okay? So I'm focusing on this aspect of my true will. Doing this tarot reading and this transmission to you. And because this is taking up, and this feels like I'm in the flow, okay? It requires that I kind of put on the back burner my musical career, my rock stardom, you know, that it's still something I cherish. I love playing music. I love listening to music. I love playing the drums. I love singing. But it's not something that I'm allowing to dominate my time, because this is where the energy really is. That's where the flow really takes place, is here in this, with these channels, with YouTube, with tarot, with these esoteric subjects and the other channels that I have. This is where it seems to be. Okay. And I think that is part of that hanged man, because it requires a sacrifice. A surrender and a sacrifice. Yeah. And I think that is that's the first step, really, of the magician, is to know what things kind of have to go in order to make room for what really needs to be there. Yeah. And up above the surface, you have an 8 of Pentacles. That's you trying to cultivate yourself so that you can more effectively, more accurately manifest that will. Okay? So you're somebody who can adapt. You're somebody that can grow. You're somebody that's learning new things in order to get better at your craft. Okay? And you're honoring your craft. You're paying attention to yourself, and you're paying attention to what you're doing. You're taking it seriously. Okay? You're giving it the honor and the respect that it deserves. Because this is your will. This is your destiny. This is your fate, right? And that's the 8 of Pentacles, kind of honing the craft, practicing, trying to get better, not taking it for granted, trying to cultivate and trying to continue growing. So, you know, no matter how many years I do tarot, I'm gonna like, oh, there's a new tarot book out. I'm going to go read the new book. I'm going to watch other tarot readers. I'm going to meditate on the cards. I'm going to do, you know, readings off camera just for myself and just to, you know, just to experience and interact with the energies. Almost like practice, right? It's the same way a musician. You become the rock star, but the best drummer in the world is still going to practice, still wants to grow. You know, I think I heard an interview with Danny Carey, who's one of the best drummers, you know, in the world right now. And he was saying how he was still practicing some other kind of musical genre or some other kind of polyrhythm. I don't know, and he was having trouble with it. And it's like, yeah, like even someone of that caliber still has to practice. Okay? And that's the 8 of Pentacles, is devoting ourselves to the improvement of ourselves and to the honing of our craft. And that's how you're able to manifest your will. That's how you're going to really accomplish your goals here. Okay? I think the first step is to stop overthinking it, stop with the resistance, and surrender to the flow of that will. Realize that you are the transmitter of the light. You are acting as a clear channel of your own spiritual essence. And being willing to devote your energy to improving that ability. We want to get better and better at transmitting our light through us. The same way, a drummer or musician is going to hone their craft so that they can more accurately express that music that's inside of them, or the dancer who's going to practice dancing, going to keep themselves in shape, going to learn new moves, going to continue to stretch, and I'll do all these things so that they can more accurately and more honestly and more purely and more perfectly express the dance that's inside of them. Or the writer who needs to learn the language, needs to learn grammar, needs to learn storytelling, so that they can more accurately, needs to learn how to type, so that they can more flawlessly or more excellently transmit their light to the rest of the world. And that's what you're doing, and that is your prophecy. That is how you're making big changes in the world. And of course, the other component is the hanged man to the hermit. The dedication, the isolation, and the elimination of distractions. This is the next step for you. Because I feel like you've already done this. You've already figured it out for the most part. Now, it's never fully clear, right? But what we do is we try to not overthink it. We try to say, okay, I'm surrendering to that divine flow, and I feel like I'm in that flow, but that can change at any moment as new information comes in. We're never fully rid of the confusion, okay? But I think that you're in this alignment right now. I want you to type alignment in the comments. Or just give me a yes. Just give me a heck yes in the comments, okay? And hit the subscribe button. I promise something great will happen for you when you subscribe to the channel. So you're in this horizontal alignment. You're in this vertical alignment. The vertical alignment is, of course, the honing of your craft, the practice, the refinement, the surrender, and the vision that's inside of you. This is your perfect dance. This is your perfect song. This is the book you're trying to write. This is the business you're trying to build. This is the house you're trying to build, whatever it is, okay? So you have the vertical alignment and the horizontal alignment. The next step in your horizontal alignment is a little bit of withdrawing from drama, withdrawing from things that are there to distract you, withdrawing from toxic relationships and interactions. The hermit puts on that cloak of invisibility. All that drama that's out there in the world, everything that will try to take you off of your path or knock you off balance, all that stuff's going to miss you. Okay? So we're kind of stepping into hermit mode. And the hermit doesn't mean you're alone. It doesn't mean like you're by yourself. What it means is that you have the ability to focus and ignore the bovine excrement. You can be in a crowded room, but you still have the ability to concentrate and stay in the flow. It's like the pitcher on the mound in the bottom of the ninth, with 2 outs at the game-winning World Series championship or whatever, and has to throw that perfect pitch. And the crowd's going wild, throwing their beer cups on the field and all that nonsense, and is able to sort of block everybody out. To that pitcher on the mound, the crowd disappears. The noise goes silent, and they're able to just be in that zone. That's the ideal. That's what we're working toward. That's what we have to practice that, And this is that kind of almost mental or spiritual solitude. Even in a crowded room, you still have the ability to focus your mind and concentrate. That's a skill that we have to practice. It doesn't come easily to most people. Okay? It certainly doesn't come easily to me. I start to go kind of haywire when there are too many people talking at once, I really need to work on that. Finding the silence, even in a cacophony of distracting noise. Right. to be able to find the signal even when there is static everywhere. Okay. If you're still watching this, type yes in the comments for me, okay? I want you to claim this Hermit card. It doesn't mean you have to stop seeing your friends or stop playing with the dog, right? But it means you have to be able to focus on what you're doing and what you need to do. It's like you can't practice drums if you got your phone on and like someone's calling you every 5 minutes and you're scrolling your feed and you're checking your email and stuff. No. How are you going to do that? How are you going to focus on anything? You're not going to be able to do any of this other stuff if you have an inability to sit down and actually get to the work. Okay. We've got to choose to do the work of the hermit. And that's not always the most fun. And I think that's kind of where we have over here our 8 of Cups and our 3 of Cups. It's very tempting to walk away from a good time and go and sit down and practice your craft. Okay? The 3 of Cups is much more tempting than sitting down and practicing, going through the drills, doing the flashcards, doing the exercises, studying the material, practicing the moves, or, reading the books or researching or doing the homework. Okay? But if you really want to achieve this, then you're going to do those things. Yeah. And I think with the 6 of Wands under here, you know that you're capable of it. Yeah. I want you to hit the like button if this is the message that you needed today. We're going to talk about the path of the serpent. First thing we see is the builder, the Prince of Pentacles. This is somebody that shows up every day. This is somebody that clocks in, does the work, and doesn't go home until it's done. Fulfills their duties. And so it's kind of like saying the hermit has the ability to go to the fortress of solitude. You have a certain some certain goals that you want to accomplish in the day, right? I'm going to practice drums for 2 hours every day. Boom. For those 2 hours, 0 distractions, right? You clock in, you do your stuff, you clock out. And after you clock out, you go party, go have fun, go see your dog and hang out with your friends or whatever, right? You enjoy yourself. But it's your ability to make the most out of those 2 hours. Okay? So this is honoring your own time, respecting yourself. Type respect into the comments. You're respecting your own time. You're honoring your own time. What's the point of saying, I'm going to take 2 hours, sit down and meditate, or I'm going to sit down and write my book, or study this, or do this, or whatever? What's the point of even dedicating that time if for that whole 2 hours you're like checking your phone, checking Facebook, you're fiddling around, you're getting up, you're getting a sandwich, you're coming back, you're getting a drink of water, I got to go to the bathroom. That 2 hours is gone. What was the point? It's disrespectful to yourself. And that's you not honoring the divine light that's trying to flow through you. You're not being a really good, clear channel of that transmission, are you? So I feel like, on the contrary, you are respecting your own time. You're honoring and respecting yourself. There's nothing more scarce than time, Feels like that's time and space. Feel like it's the most abundant thing in the universe, right? Space, time. But somehow as human beings, that's the resource that we seem to have the least of. Why is that? Time and space are infinite. But yet in our human existence, we feel like, I got no time, I got no space. It seems weird. There's something fishy about that, right? Please leave me a comment if this resonates with you. You got to respect your time, because it's a commodity that we can't afford to waste frivolously. The 7 of Cups is very much that. It's you recognizing that all of these very enticing and seductive joys and delights and gratifications are the toxic distractions. Okay? And it's not an absolute thing. These are those relationships, people, places, and things that in a certain way are absolutely toxic and to be shunned and avoided at all costs. But later on in the day, they might be blessings. Later on in the day, it's just we want to receive it, you know? And so that's kind of how we have to look at things. And it's like we have that, you know, like do not disturb mode on the phone or something, you know? It's like we set it up so that our phone will reject every phone call. Maybe one or two people, if mom calls, that's fine, they'll come in. But otherwise, everything else is no, banned, blocked. Don't want to talk to anybody. Everybody's blocked from my life for that 2 hours. And then after that, I'm going to call people back. I mean, how you doing? It's going to, you know what I mean? It's just it's a relative thing. But this is your ability to see things for what they really are. And not only to be able to set your own do not disturb mode and to honor and respect yourself and your time, but to also see those things in your life that are kind of not good for you no matter what time of the day it is. Yeah. No matter what time of the day it is. And sometimes we look at the hermit as being a punishment. Punishing ourselves with isolation. We start to resent ourselves or resent our gift or our will. Or we start to resent the drums, right? Because I'm kind of being punished. I have to sit here and I can't do any of the fun things that I want to do because now I'm just stuck sitting here, and we end up rebelling against that. And instead of doing this work over here, we end up running to the toxic things as a rebellion. So we have to be careful with this energy. We don't want to be too strict or too disciplined, but we also want to cultivate the growth and the success, right? It's like if you're trying to be a virtuoso guitar player, you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to sometimes not go out for a hot dog with your friends or whatever, you know? You're going to have to turn on the do not enter sign, the do not disturb thing. You're going to have to say closed, you know, instead of open. And for everything, but especially things that are a little bit more like always bad for you. Toxic relationships, toxic friendships, things that are truly just a waste of time. Energy vampires, psychic vampires, time sucks, wastes of time, effort, energy, and money. Where in your life are you throwing away time, effort, energy, and or money? Those are the things that you can very immediately cut off. Done. The rest of the things, for that 2 hours a day, do not disturb, otherwise, come on in. That's a very important part of this for you. I feel like you need those dedicated blocks of time for you to do this work. Okay. The Knight of Cups here, fear, worry, concern. Why is that in the fear, worry, concern, right? Or the anxiety, I guess. Well, this is a card of following your passion. This is the card of someone who is on a quest for the Holy Grail. Yeah. This is somebody that is putting themselves out there. And I think in some part, the worry here is that you're going to devote yourself to this will, this purpose of yours. Devote yourself to this gift that you're trying to transmit to the world. And that it's not going to reward you in any way. That it's the world, the gift or the universe or other people are not going to reciprocate. That you're going to sacrifice your entire life on this planet in service to something that never gives you a reward, never gives you a fruit to eat, never gives you any kind of a harvest, you know. And I think that's a real problem. That's a real caveat here. That there's no guarantee that this is going to feel good. There's no guarantee that this is going to reward you or gratify you in any in any like kind of human physical way. This is like the artist that paints because that's what they're meant to do, even though they're not doing it for the money. They're not doing it because they know like, someone's going to pay me for this painting and I'm going to have a big house or something. I don't know. That's not why they do it. So this is the awareness that if you do get paid, that's a pretty lucky thing, right? That this is something that you have to be willing to do even if there is no return. Even if no one says thank you, would you still do it? Even if no one paid you money for it, would you still do it? This is something for you that you would do for free. You don't want to, but you would, right? Because it's authenticity. It's you. It's something flowing through you, and I think that's infinitely more satisfying than doing something you don't care about because it's paying the bills. Well, maybe you got to pay the bills too. Okay? This isn't really about that. I think that a lot of us, we have a day job. I had a day job for a long time while I was doing this. I had a day job for, I've been working since I was 15 years old. So that's, carry the two, 30 years. Been working for 30 years now. And I guess I just gave away my age. Darn it. Anyway, and just a couple years ago, I quit my day job to do this full time. Okay. And so it can happen, but what pays the bills is different and can be different because what pays the bills can fund this passionate work that you would do even if you had to do it for free. So when I first started the channel, my day job was paying the bills so that I could have a house and electricity so I could sit in my basement with my little Samsung phone and record tarot readings to put on YouTube, you know? So it was funding the passion until eventually the passion starts funding itself. And now this is the job, this is the business, this is how I earn a living, right? And so it can happen. And I feel like it is going to happen for you. I think that's why we have the Five of Pentacles here at the end. Because it's something that you would do for free and that you have always been doing for free. But I think now it's coming into an alignment. I think this 5 is going to become a 6. I think it's going to really start funding itself. I think that's kind of, that seems to be the prophecy here. And that seems to be the really big change that's going to take place in your life. Whatever you're doing right now as a hobby or a passion or as an art form or as this kind of true will creative transmission, I believe it's going to start paying you. I believe that it's going to turn into like a full-time gig. Okay? And maybe you're saying, no, I don't want that. Okay. Well, that's good. Okay, you shouldn't want that. At first, this should be something that you almost feel like getting paid for it would corrupt it. Because that's the right mindset. But when it starts paying you, and you say, okay, when someone's handing you money, you're gonna say, okay, that makes sense. Because you deserve to get paid for what you do. And it would be nice if then what you're doing would fund itself and then you didn't have to have the day job too. As long as you stay true to your true will. As long as you stay in alignment with that. Because I feel that kind of integrity is very important. And that's why, even for me, and not to always make it about me, but it's my channel. I'll never take a sponsorship. I'll never take money from anything that I don't believe in. Now, I can't choose the ads that YouTube runs on the channel, right? That's not in my control. But I don't take sponsorships. I've had companies approach me that want me to talk about their, battery pack or their flashlight or some jewelry or some kind of candle companies that want me to sort of use their candles. And I'm not going to promote something on this channel that I don't believe in, that I don't personally use, that feels like it's just trying to get, I'm trying to get some money. And so, yeah, here, drink this energy drink or something, right? I do have a Bob Ross energy drink, but Bob Ross ain't paying me. I just love the guy. Found that at a Five Below. Anyway, the idea for you is that you have your integrity. So if and when this starts paying you, you can be comfortable that you can take that compensation because you deserve it and you've earned it, knowing that it's not going to corrupt you. Okay? And I want that to be very, very clear. Claim your role as a magic maker in the comments. Okay? Do it now. This is going to be good. And I want you to join our tribe here. I want you to subscribe here. Let's look at the mystery card. 6 of Pentacles, 9, 10 of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, Empress. Those are my go-tos for the mystery cards. But I wonder if it's going to be some fire energy, maybe. I think maybe the Wheel of Fortune would be appropriate, or the Two of Wands, because the magician has to adapt to the outside world. We're trying to cause change and conformity with our will, but we've got to play by the rules of the universe. We've got to do that in the context that the universe provides for us. Okay? We're not creating anything out of nothing here. Okay? We need the medium of the material world. So this might be the World card. Might be the Two of Wands, might be the Wheel of Fortune. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. The Temperance card, or also called the Art card. Yeah, I like the Art card here. Because I feel like this is your art. This is your soul art. This is you doing your, and whether this is, maybe you don't think of it as art. Maybe it's business. Maybe it's science. This is the art of manifestation. This is the art of your life. This is the art of transmitting to the physical world your spiritual gift. Okay? And I feel like this art is about to really seriously start paying you. Okay? And I feel that this is something that is worth you developing yourself for, right? Because this is the Temperance card. This is the pressure cooker. This is the blacksmith's anvil. And what does the Hanged Man do but lie down on the blacksmith's anvil and say, hammer away. Transform me into who I need to become to do this better. So it's a willingness to go through the pressure cooker knowing that we're going to be changed. It's the magician's surrender to that process, knowing that, the magician is Mercury, right? And Mercury can go through combinations with any other elements and can change its form, but it's still Mercury. Okay? Never gets corrupted. It's still true to its value. It's still pure. You put 100 units of Mercury into a combination with any other chemicals, and then you separate them again, you'll still have 100 units pure Mercury. Okay? So the Hanged Man is you lying down on that blacksmith's anvil, allowing yourself to change, to grow, to adapt, to become who you need to become in order to continue doing this and to make it work and to have the success and to cause the desired change in your life. You're willing to change so that you can change the world. The world is changing us, we're changing the world. And that's what happens in the Temperance card. This is alchemy. This is the acknowledgement that every relationship is alchemy. We change the world changes us. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? See, it doesn't matter. It happens simultaneously. Happens at the same time. We're adapting, and the more we adapt, the more influence we have over the world around us. Okay, then the world changes, and then, we have to grow a little bit too. And then as we grow, we change the world a little bit. And as the world changes, we've got to adapt to that now. And so it's this constant dance back and forth that's spiraling upward, right? Raising the vibrations of the universe. I feel like this is the very appropriate card for you. Yeah. I'm very excited about what you're doing. Let me know what you're manifesting in the comments, okay? And hit that like button. We're going to do an extended reading as well if you want to stick around. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Aquarius, Tuesdays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.